You might think it's over, but it's not over, not yet. The distance may have cooled your days, but it hasn't silenced what insists on remaining. You pretend to have forgotten, you pretend to have moved on, but the silence carries more truth than any word. Pride has stalled everything. Time has hardened what was alive. Still, something stirs inside. Something wants to break through this wall. A gesture is coming, not one that asks for permission, one that comes when you can no longer hold back. And when it comes, it won't be small. It will put everything at risk. It will force you to face what has been avoided for far too long. Maybe it's too late, maybe it's not. But the chance will pass by here. Those who are attentive will feel it. And those who feel adder will know. Because there are signs, there are always signs. A message that was almost sent. A number that appears and disappears from notifications. A profile seen in the middle of the night. A song that comes out of nowhere. None of this is coincidence, but it's easier to pretend it is. More comfortable to leave things as they are. That's how you lose what could still be. While waiting for the right moment, life goes on. And what remains unresolved weighs heavy. Those who feel try to ignore it. Those who ignore are deceived, but at some point, the body starts to demand, the chest tightens, sleep falters, and the longing enters without asking for permission. No one says anything, but everything is spoken in the silence. It's not just about longing, it's about regret, about letting something slip through your fingers, and knowing deep down that it didn't have to be this way. Time has been cruel, yes, but cowardice has been as well. It's not about who was more wrong, nor about who should have tried first. That only matters to those who still want to win the argument. But here it's no longer about winning. It's about losing everything if you remain silent. When you overthink, you lose the moment. And that's what's about to happen again. Another opportunity suffocated by fear, another desire swallowed by pride, and the body feels. It feels when something needs to happen and doesn't. It feels when there's a connection that hasn't been broken yet, even if you force it, even if you deny it. You can't deceive your own instinct for too long. There will come a point when ignoring it will no longer be an option. You either face it or you watch everything drift away for good. And the worst part isn't seeing the other person leave. It's realizing that the one who left was the one who stood still. It's easy to wait for time to resolve things. Easy to hope the other person will come back. But sometimes, time just distances you further. And the other doesn't return, not because they don't feel, but because they grew tired of waiting for something to change. Because they also have limits. They also have wounds that don't heal on their own. And that's when the guilt comes. Late, bitter, the kind that says, I could have done it differently. But by the time it arrives, there's nothing more to be done. Just observing what was lost and carrying it. This can still be avoided, but it requires something rare. Courage. Not the movie kind of courage, but the real kind. The kind that puts fear in its pocket and does what needs to be done, even while trembling, even without guarantees, because that's what it's all about. Doing what needs to be done, even without certainty of what will come next. Just because it can't go on like this anymore. Just because pretending it doesn't matter hurts more than trying. Just because there's no peace in staying silent. And maybe it won't work. Maybe the answer isn't what you expect. But at least there will be clarity. And the pain of clarity is always less than the pain of doubt. Nobody can live in suspension forever. Eventually the body gives up. The mind tires. And the heart closes. And when it closes, it's not easy to open it again. So while there's still something alive, while you can still smell what could be, you must act, even if it's just to hear a no, even if it's just to put a worthy end to it. But you shouldn't leave everything in the hands of fate. No fate works alone. If there's no movement, there's no miracle. And yes, you can say you tried. One can tell the version where everything was someone else's fault. But deep down, the real story quietly eats away inside, and it whispers all the time, you had your chance too, and you chose to do nothing. How many times have you thought about sending a message? How many times did your finger hover over the send button? How many excuses have you invented to avoid taking action? I'm not going to humiliate myself. If they want to, they can come to me. I've made it clear. It's not worth it. But deep down, what isn't worth it is spending another night pretending you don't feel. It's having to live with the doubt of what could have happened. It's trying to move on with life while carrying a ghost. Because that's what it becomes, a ghost that silently follows you, present in songs, in scents, in places, present in everything you try to avoid. And no matter how much you say, it's over, there's always a crack where this story continues to breathe, and as long as it breathes, there's still time. But not much, because everything has its limits, even waiting. Even the strongest feeling fades if it isn't nurtured, and one day what today still burns will turn into a mere memory, cold, distant, insignificant, and when that point arrives, it won't help to chase after it. The door will be closed, not with anger, not with hurt, closed with indifference, and that is the worst response you can receive, so let it be clear. Time does not heal what is not faced. It only puts it to sleep, and what sleeps returns. It always returns. So either do something now or learn to live with the emptiness of having given up too soon. Because that's what many do. They give up before the time is right. They give up out of fear, out of pride, or due to that false idea that if it's meant to be, it will be. But not everything that's meant to be builds itself alone. Sometimes what was meant to be needs action, needs a step, needs someone to say, enough, I'm not going to lose this too. It's easier to wait for the other person to break the silence, to wait for chance to fix what's broken, waiting for time to erase what still burns, but nothing fades away while presence exists. And yes, there is presence, even in absence. Presence in thoughts, in memories, in that impulse that comes from nowhere and constricts the chest for a few seconds. Presence where it's not admitted but it's felt. And where it's felt, there is still life. If you're still alive, it's because something is still asking for a response. It still waits for an action. Perhaps small, perhaps just a word, but something that shows you didn't let everything die without trying. Because when it comes down to it, what weighs is not what was said, it's what was never had the courage to say. What got stuck? What was desired so much and never had the courage to show? What was loved in silence out of fear of not being loved back? But what if? What if there is, on the other side, the same doubt, the same desire? What if all that's missing is just a gesture to break the weight? There are no guarantees, there never will be. But if there's a call inside your chest, it's not there by chance. No one feels what they feel for no reason. No one suffers for something that's already dead. Only what still beats hurts. Only what still matters weighs heavy. So, the question that matters now is not, is it worth it? The real question is, how much longer can you endure living like this, without saying, without acting, without knowing? How many more times will it be necessary to ignore the impulse before understanding that it's there for a reason? How many more dreams will need to be suffocated until realizing that waiting doesn't bring answers? How many times will it be necessary to silence the heart until it stops trying to speak? Because it will stop, sooner or later it will. And when it stops, it will be too late, not out of malice, but because time wears down even what is strong. Prolonged absence creates a type of void that nothing else fills, and then what you have is just a memory, only what could have been, only the echo of what wasn't said. And it doesn't make sense to chase after it when the silence of the other has already become a wall. There is no longer any gap, only the dry sound of the end. So let it stop now. Think. With coolness. With truth. What are you waiting for? Exactly. A sign. An invitation. A message that never arrives? It's not going to arrive. Not while you keep waiting for the other person to do everything. Not while you hide behind the excuse that you have done enough. Not while you avoid the risk of exposing yourself. Do you know what's more exhausting than absence? Cowardice. It doesn't tire you out on the outside, but on the inside. It slowly eats away at you. And when you realize there's no strength left even to try. Those who feel need to act. Those who desire need to show it. Those who care need to make their presence known. And those who love need to stop running away. Because what's at stake now isn't pride. It's the chance to not end this story in the worst way. With silence, with regret, and with the eternal doubt, what if I had tried one more time? That doesn't go away. It stays, it changes names. Sometimes it turns into guilt, sometimes it turns into frustration. But it always comes back, especially at night, especially when everything is too quiet. And there's nothing heavier than lying down and feeling you lost something that could still be yours. Something that might still be waiting for you, even if it doesn't say so. Because some people love in silence, they wait without promising. They suffer quietly, but one day they get tired. And when they get tired, they no longer look back. And those who did nothing just watch. They watch the other move on, smile, recreate their life. With someone else, perhaps. Someone who had the courage, who didn't hide behind excuses, who saw value where you only saw risk. And then it's too late to want, it's too late to remember. All that's left is to watch and feel. Because the pain of loss due to omission is silent but eternal. So if there's still some part of you that feels, that dreams, that wishes to see this story reborn, the time is now. Not later, not when it's too late. Now. Before time decides for you. Before the other understands that waiting no longer makes sense. Before this connection becomes just another chapter that no one has the courage to finish. Because that's exactly what can happen. The story ends without a conclusion. Not due to a lack of feeling, but out of cowardice. It doesn't help later to say you felt something. It doesn't help to try to fix things down the line. There's a right time for everything, including admitting what you feel. And when that time passes, there's no going back. The door may be slightly open today, but it won't be forever. There's an invisible limit. Once it's crossed, there's no appeal left, no attempts anymore. The energy fades, the desire disappears. And what remains turns into just a memory. Those who think they can put everything off believe that the other person will always be there. But that's not the case. Some people love fiercely, but when they leave and it's final, and there's nothing more to say, no apologies, no explanations, what wasn't done in the right time is no longer useful. So you either choose to act now, or you learn to live with regret. And don't think it'll be easy, because it won't pass quickly. It won't stop hurting just because you ignored it. It will continue to creep into your thoughts. It will be in places, voices, random memories. It will cross through good days and bad. It will be there when everything is silent. And then, you'll want to go back. You'll look for a way. You'll draft messages. You'll open old conversations. You'll feel that tightness in your throat. But it will already have passed. The person will be far away. Maybe with someone else. Maybe without any remnants of feelings for you. And the only thing that will be left is the thought. It was just a matter of saying something. It was just a matter of trying. It's not about what the other person will think. It's not about humiliating yourself. It's about being true, about stopping living in a bind, about not letting fear decide for you. Those who feel know, those who feel carry. And if they keep carrying, it's because it still matters. But will it stay like this, just feeling and pretending not to feel, just observing from afar, hoping for a miracle? Scrolling through stories, interpreting scattered phrases, creating narratives in your mind? Or are you going to do something real, something concrete, something that clearly states, I'm still here and I don't want to lose this? Even if the answer is no, even if it hurts, at least there will be peace, at least there will be truth, at least it will have been said. Because silence, that is the true slow poison. It kills everything inside, little by little. It turns into a kind of prison, a weight that is invisible but carried forever. The only way to break free is to face it, without guarantees, without a pre-written script, only with the raw desire to try. And if you don't try, know this: the blame will be yours, entirely yours. Because there was still time, there was still space, and you chose not to move. Now decide. Because afterward, all that remains are memories, and memories don't hug, they don't respond, they don't restart. It's time to stop pushing this feeling away with excuses. Those who feel, act. Those who want, seek. Those who value, demonstrate. Those who love don't wait for time to decide, they decide, and they act. There is no pride worth the pain of losing someone who still makes your heart race. There are no excuses that justify the silence of someone who could have tried. There's no guaranteed tomorrow for those who throw today away. Life doesn't stop for those who hesitate. It moves on and takes along chances, glances, possibilities. And when you realize it, what was fire has turned to ash. What was presence has turned to absence. What was love has turned into a lesson. There's still time, maybe not much, but there is. Whoever understands this now saves something. Whoever waits longer buries everything. It's no longer enough to watch in silence. It's no use romanticizing the wait. You either face it or you lose. And if this message is burning inside you, if it makes you think of someone, then it's not by chance. It's because there's still something inside that needs to come out. Speak, call, try, before silence becomes the end. If this speaks to you, write in the comments. There's still time, but not forever. Share your story. Who did you think of? What have you not had the courage to do yet? Subscribe to the channel for more messages that express what many feel, but few have the courage to admit. Leave a like if this resonated with something you were trying to hide. Don't put off what could still save you now.